voices in my head. I said I got voices. I said I got voices in my head. I said I got voices. I said I got voices in my head. I said I got voices. I said I got voices in my head. I said I got voices.
Welcome to Voices, the Udrama podcast, live from Crypto Cuts. I'm your host, Freeze. On today's episode, we'll be interviewing Mr. Steve Winfield.
What's up with it? My name is Mary.
Allan Kingdom.
Steve Winfield.
So before we get started, Mr. Winfield, I just wanted to ask if you would tell us a little bit about where you're from, your background, kind of just how you grew up.
Well, let me just say this. First of all, I want to thank Udrama Place. They've been friends of mine a long time. I appreciate all the things that the coaches do over there and the brothers who participate in the program. So that's the first and main thing I want to say. I'm one of the sons of Rondo, as they say. Grew up in the neighborhood. Me and my brother and single mom raised us, but the community raised us also. You know, there's nothing that any of us can do by ourselves. You know, we make it because the support that we get around us and things. And so all the cousins I had and aunts and uncles and coaches and volunteers in the neighborhood, you know, that helped me to grow up, helped me to be who I am.
That's beautiful. I think where I want to start off is we know a little bit about your baseball background. What are some of the main challenges you faced when you were like in the league or just...
Okay, well, let me just say this, that there are two Winfield boys that played baseball, okay? And the one that played at the highest level, that's my brother Dave Winfield. And he had a 20-year Major League Baseball career.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I played at a little lower level, but still played for years. And did a lot of coaching. I still do coaching. I work with the Minnesota Twins. I help do some... training of, you know, young people. There's a program called RBI, Reviving Baseball in the Inner City, and all of the major league teams do some different things with that to make sure some of the inner city kids get a chance to get exposed to baseball, get a chance to play. And, you know, we grew up playing on Oxford Playground. Now it's called Jimmy Lee down there, so a lot of you guys that are young enough, you know, aren't as familiar with the word Oxford, but call it Jimmy Lee. But that's where we got our start down there. We, at one point, just like a lot of people have dreams of what they want to be. I know a lot of the kids these days talk about wanting to be a rapper or be a singer or, you know, do some other kind of, be an entertainer. And I think at the time we wanted to grow up and actually we had talked about wanting to be professional bowlers because we used to watch bowling on TV. But then we saw a team came to town called the Minnesota Twins, and they had a young man on there named Zoilo Versalles, and they're talking about pay him $5,000 to play ball. Well, that ain't nothing now. That's like meal money, but we kind of changed our direction in terms of our dream. Said, man, that'd be cool if we could play professional ball one of these days. And it so happened it worked out for my brother, Dave.
Do you, since I hear you talking a little bit about how life was as a kid and looking up to what you wanted to do in life, do you see anything from like life in the 50s and 60s to life is now? Do you see any similarities or do you see any discrepancies? Or is like...
Well, I think that whatever generation from go all the way back to, you know, slavery or whatever and things. But I think all of us, whatever generation, has always had some dreams in terms of what they wanted to do, what they wanted to be. And so in a way, I think things are the same in terms of having dreams and aspirations and that's a good thing. And as young people, we usually looked up to people who are older than us, have already been there, done that. And, we take some, I don't know, I get excited when I think about the fact of we learn from our elders.
Facts.
And we need to pay attention to that. And sometimes it seems like some of the kids in the generation now don't pay attention to that, but one of the things I like about Jama Place is the fact that it has a lot of coaches and people to bring in different people to talk to the young men, and so they can get an idea of, oh, well, maybe I can do that. Oh, maybe I can be a part of that, and whether it's a pro athlete or entertainer, but also see people doing other things too. We always talk about doctors, talk about teachers, talk about business people owning a business. Whatever they want to do, at least you get a chance to see it, and that's one of the things that I enjoy about Ujamaa Place in terms of, because it lets young men see what they can be.
Was there a corporation or is there anything like Ujamaa when you were a kid? Do you have anywhere you could go?
Yeah, there are a lot of different organizations around. They're all a little bit different, but there's Inner City Youth League was one of the organizations that was in the community, and they had a lot of things going on. They did a lot of things with video and things, and they had boxing and they had all kinds of things. There was a Loft Team Center. There was Hallie Q. Brown, which is still in existence.
Yeah, they call it the MLK Center now.
Yeah, the MLK, yeah. The building is the Martin Luther King Center, the building, and Hallie Q. Brown is the program inside the building. It's got a lot of great things going on. So there have always, Minneapolis, there was Phyllis Wheatley and the Wait Teen Center, and, so there have always been different organizations going on, and Ujamaa Place is one of the more recent ones.
More recently, what were some of the corporations or organizations or some of the partnerships in the community that you were able to partner with or work for later in your life?
Well, that I work with personally, or just know that we're there? I mean,
personally, or that you feel like it made a difference in?
Well, different places. I've worked in the school system in St. Paul. I've been in just about all the schools in St. Paul, elementary, middle schools, high schools, been employed by them, and sometimes, just as a volunteer along the way. Because I think it's important that the community, I think it's important that the kids see adults coming in the schools and caring about what they do. Spent a lot of time. I worked for the St. Paul Parks Department, and because that's where most of our kids end up going to the parks one way or the other, playing sports or being involved in different activities. And so it's very important that we have the parks going, and like I said, that's one of the main things that our kids participate in and learn discipline and meet other people and learn what to do and what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember your last baseball game and where it was at?
You have to say that again. I missed that.
The last baseball game?
The one he played in, or
the one that you last played in?
that he last played?
Oh, yeah. The last one I played in was I played amateur Class A ball until I was, I played a lot longer. We must have some good genes in our family, because my brother played until in his 40s as a pro, and that's unheard of for pro ball. Just like some of the pro basketball players, LeBron, he's still playing in the upper 30s, and people say, oh my goodness, he's still doing that. But my brother played up to his 40s. And my last game, I was, I was 55 when I was still playing
wow.
with the young college boys and things. And yeah, I remember that last game because I had a couple of my grandsons at the game, watching me play. And I told them, this is going to be my last game playing, but, I want you to just check me out hustling and playing. And one of the things that I always learned how to do, and my brother did too, is we hustled all the time. So anybody, whether you're playing sports or even when you're in school doing what you're supposed to be doing, you got to push it, you got to hustle, you got to try, no matter what the other folks are doing. And that's sometimes tough for young people to do. Say, who should I follow? Which example should I take? But I can just tell you from experience, try to take the right path, because all of us got crazy friends that do crazy things. And even, when we grown, we still got folks that do crazy things. But you got to have the courage. You got to have the faith that, there's something else better for you. And when I go into the schools or when I coach, that's one of the things I always try to get across to young people. Follow the right path. And that may sound like a cliche or whatever, but whatever generation you come from, believe me, the adults want you younger people to follow the right path.
Now, can I ask, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that you were involved with the Black Panther Party back in the day.
Well, it wasn't the Black Panther Party, but it was the Black Student Organization at the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
Probably when some of the things I got involved with when Martin Luther King got killed back in '68, and was at Central High School, and some of you may have gone to Central, but me and another young man I grew up with, another one of the sons of Rondo, Russell Ballinger, we, after had a little walkout in the school, kids walked out, then came back, and him and I were voted to be the head of the first Black student organization in Central High School. And then after that, when I went to the U, and they had a program that was named after Martin Luther King, that helped get some finances so we could go to school, because I wasn't sure how I would have been able to pay for college, but there was some monies available. There was a Black student organization there, and got involved in different things there. Eventually, there was a takeover of the administration building at the University of Minnesota, and the results of it were the fact of out of it came the creation of the Afro-American Studies Department, which still exists today. Then there was a Chicano Studies Department that came out of it. There's a Women's Studies Department that came out of it. African Studies Department that came out of it. So being a part of that was part of history that I love to have said I was a part of that. But there were a lot of people, a lot of community people that were involved, and I can't name everybody, but there's from the Spike Mosses for over in Minneapolis and in St. Paul, there's Bobby Hickman, and then there's Mahmoud El-Khatib, Mahmoud is still around to this day, and some of you may know him. He's the probably foremost historian, a Black historian in the Twin Cities, in the country, so I learned a lot from them, and they helped to make me a better person and helped to make a lot of people in the community better people, better young people. And if there's anything along the way that I happen to be able to say or do to help folks out, help young people out. I love that. I got to tell you, one of the things that being involved with Ujamaa Place, and there I see a number of you guys that were around, and I got a chance to expose you to some different things, and I think that's one of the best things that a person who's a little bit older can do, help expose young people to some other things. And for you guys, one of the things we did, we went to some batting cages and got a chance to check that out. Went to, some of you hadn't been to Hallie Q. Brown or the Martin Luther King Center. I thought, oh, shoot, everybody's been there, but hadn't had a chance to guys shoot some baskets and things, and went down to Jimmy Lee down there and saw the center down there, and you can see all the facilities that are there. Sometimes we don't even know some of the good facilities that are in our neighborhood.
Yes,
and we should know those kind of things. We also got a chance to go to get a little culture. Went to the Ordway Center downtown, and that was, I know some of you guys really enjoyed that because you got to see how plays are done and go backstage, and there's a brother who's the head person down there at the Ordway, and my wife worked down there. She was down there for about 18 years. This Robin Hickman, she always said, make sure you add Winfield to it, and she's and also we went to the Twin Stadium, guys that got a chance to go there, and also we went to where the Saints play out there, because you had one of our guys from Ujamaa Place throw out the first ball to one of the games.
Yeah.
And I spent some time talking, making sure that he was gonna do it properly. Some of you guys have seen some of those games where they have some celebrity throwing out the first ball.
And it looks absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and they'd be all throwing the ball. And you had to make sure Ujamaa Place was represented properly. So he got it, and he threw it correctly, and so he looked good doing that.
Can I ask when you were involved with the Black Student Union, correct?
Yeah.
What time frame was that? What decade, if you don't mind me asking?
That's okay. That was like in the early 70s.
In the early 70s? So do you feel like at that time, because you said Martin Luther King had just...
That was, 68.
68. So at that time, do you feel like making a decision, like joining the Black Student Union, did you feel like you had to, I guess, do you feel like there were any opportunities maybe that you gained or that were taken away because of that sensitive time period in American history?
Yeah, I'm sure there were. Couple things. One, I had dreams of, wanting to play professional baseball and things, that I played as a freshman at the U and things, and I was a year ahead of my brother, and but again, there was nobody that was ahead of us that we could locally look to and say, "Ooh, I want to be like so and so," and so when when a lot of the activities were going on, and there was the war, the Vietnam War was going on, and a lot of the black student unions across the country, and there's a lot of unrest and things, and I remember when I had a chance when we were demonstrating and when we were part of the different things that were going on there at the school, and I didn't go back to baseball practice. And I never talked to the coach. I didn't have maybe a dad or older brother to say, okay, well, you're doing what you're doing, but then you should probably go back and talk to the coach and let him know where you stand, or let it, is it cool? Is he pissed at you or whatever?
Right.
And I didn't think about that at the time because I was, into doing what I felt was important.
Right.
I remember one of the community guys, brother named Tiny, who helped with our baseball teams and things, and he said, because we had heard that the coach had said that, hey man, this guy being involved in all this revolutionary stuff, that's not who we want to be around on the team and things like that.
Right.
But I didn't know that, and Tiny had said, well, when you were doing what you were doing at the time, did you feel like it was the right thing?
Right.
And I thought about it for about 2 seconds, and I said, yeah. Then he said, well, then you did the right thing. So I never looked back on it in terms of thinking, oh, doggone it, maybe if I wouldn't have done that, maybe if I wouldn't have been part of different protests or different
Right.
things, that things might have turned out different. Because my life has always been, I've started out coaching probably when I was 12 years old at the playground because coach didn't show up, so I started coaching and as well as playing. And, overall, over the decades, I probably put in, at least I got 40 plus years of coaching, training kids in different sports. Officiated a lot of basketball, love doing that. I got a lot of my boys that I came up with in the parks department. Had a chance to work state tournaments, had a chance to work college, Final Four. And so, I've been blessed to do a lot of different things.
Right.
So I have, if that kind of answers
Definitely.
your question in terms of that, sometimes you can't look back and you just have to go ahead and move ahead, and hopefully you've passed on some positive things to other young people, and so I hope that's what I've done along the
100%.
way. I was blessed and fortunate to have a lot of great family around me. We grew up in the Rondo neighborhood. Those volunteer coaches and community people
Right.
that were always there for me, and when you listen to your elders sometimes, you can pick up some things, and it's just important that you do that. I remember somebody saying, man, listen, something about call somebody an old fool or something. That old guy said, well, I didn't get to be this old by being a fool. So, where a lot of things that happen for some of our young people that, as all of you know, we've all had some people close to us that ain't here no more.
Steve,
Yeah.
one thing my grandma always told me was, you are great at baseball, but you're even greater for your community. And I wonder if it's safe to say, if it's all of us come to the agreement that your calling was your community, and that maybe if you would have went to the league and did that, and we probably wouldn't have been able to get this chance to be with you and get to know you and get to see what you do for the community, like 100%.
Right.
Well,
So.
I appreciate your grandma saying that and things like that. And, I think my calling was, I think God has probably given all of us some kind of calling. Sometimes we don't know what it is at the time, but we all have a skill. We all have something that we can contribute to the community, and you guys, even you young folks, would be surprised how some little things you do and make a big difference for some young people looking on at you. So when you're doing something crazy or acting a fool or, got a bad habit or something, if they see you doing it, then a lot of times they feel it's okay for them to do it, or
Right.
in the language you use and things. And so we all have to check ourselves sometime. That means even us folks who are a little bit older, we got to check ourselves because somebody's always looking at you. Somebody's always looking at you. So I'm not apologetic in terms of the way my life went. We had one of the things that I had, and we were blessed to have, was a good family. Had raised by a single mom, and even the charitable kind of work that I've been involved in along the way, helping people out do different things. My mother, we didn't have much in terms of material goods, but our mother always made sure that if somebody new moved in town, we got 2 cans of beans in the cupboard, well, here, take one of these cans and give them to somebody. So, we learned that kind of thing. So when my brother was, playing professional sports, he started a foundation and, made sure a lot of kids got a lot of different things, helped a lot of kids out. Here in St. Paul, we have the Winfield Minority Student Athlete Awards and banquets. Shoot, we've been doing it for, this year was the 48th year that we did it. So he said, damn, he must really be old.
Congratulations.
But,
That's real.
We help kids get some money, to go, a little bit of money and recognition, to go to, to go to college and things. So I'm proud of that, and I'm fortunate to have, a good mate. You saw her in here today, and
Yes,
she
Miss
came out
Robin.
of that same kind of background with her mom and dad, and in the community. We always give credit to our community because that's who helped raise us. And if I say anything to you young folks, please pay attention to those. Pay attention to those who have been there before you. There's nothing new under the sun. Somebody said, well, I got a new program and whatever like that.
Same old.
It's already been done.
Right.
And as my wife would say, we live the answers, we seek, and we've already done a lot of stuff.
One thing I want to say, I love that, after what happened while you were in college with you standing up for what you believe in, you still kept rolling with the punches and still kept baseball an instrumental part of your life, right? And said, you know what? It doesn't matter what you're going to include me or exclude me out of, I'm still going to leave my mark. And so for me as an artist, that means a lot because, there's certain systems that you can be excluded out of. No matter what you're trying to do, right? You're going to be excluded and included in different things. So for everything or everyone that I feel like for the young people personally, what I try to tell them, for everything that you're excluded out of, there's 10 more people that want you to be a part of what they're doing. And it's just about finding your calling and knowing your calling. So I guess just to close out, I'd like to know what advice you have for any young people that may be battling with their dreams and their goals, and then maybe their morals and what they should stand up for, and how they should navigate that decision. I think that would be good to hear.
Well, I don't know if I was trying to, along the way, as I was talking and things, and I was thinking about that, if I had any so-called advice to give, I would tell young people, listen to people who have already been there and done that, whether they're my age, which is way older than all of you. I got, grandsons close to you guys' age and things. And but even this young man here, who's a little bit older than some of you, he's done some things. He's accomplished some things. He's got a business going on and things. Those are the kind of people that you should pay attention to. Not the ones in the street talking stuff, and again, like I said, we all got friends that be talking stuff and things like that. But, what have they accomplished? And if you, one of the things I give, and I'm going to quit running my mouth in a minute, if you get into trouble and you need, because a lot of people say, hey, I got my boys and things like that, they around and things. But I'd ask any of you, when you get in trouble and you need some bail money or need some help to get the car fixed or something like that, are all your boys going to be there for you? You know, that's what I tell people. Are they going to be there for you? Who you going to go to? You're going to end up going back to an auntie or a good friend or a coach at Ujama place, you know, so, and then you realize we all have a lot of acquaintances, but you have very few friends who are really friends. So that's what I would want to tell you if I would want to leave something with you. Remember that. The folks that you can count on, that's a very small circle.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank you, Steve, for coming. Once again, you guys, this is a Voices podcast by Ujama Place. Thank you guys for coming.
Live at Crypto Cuts.
Bow, 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 bow. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.